Ekam is a movement in consciousness founded by Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji, spread across over 100 nations of the world. This spiritual movement has led millions to a direct experience of their personal divine and the manifestation of breathtaking miracles. Seekers throng to Ekam, the mystic powerhouse at the heart of Ekam movement, to awaken from illusion, ignorance, and suffering.
Now I have a lot of ease and peace toward myself, and I feel that I'm so complete, and I start love myself, and I start connect to the people around me, the nature around me, and I start realizing I'm able to flow with the flow of life.
It felt really liberating, like I finally got through what I was like, what was making me angry or sad at my parents. I finally got through it, and it feels really good.
As an entrepreneur, what I have been looking for, or what I look for all the time, is clarity. And what's amazing about Krishnaji is that when you listen to him and you talk to him, he's got a complete blueprint of what works and what does not work. And that's what I like about his programs, that they come from a place, a knowledge, a wisdom that is does not come from books. It comes from a deep knowing.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityormamritam gamaya.
Every human being has one primal wish that appears as numerous other desires. You want to be happy. But it is sad that you seek this happiness in the outside without ever ridding your own consciousness of suffering, ignorance, and separation. Most people are like hungry and thirsty children who are lost and abandoned in the middle of a desert. It is this fear and unhappiness within them that makes them hurt each other. But their desert-like life is the result of the kind of consciousness with which they live and will disappear upon awakening. An unenlightened consciousness and unawakened consciousness is at the root of most problems. In an unawakened state, you continually engage in generating negative karmic actions and accumulate negative karmic balance, which result in obstacles such as relationship conflicts, breakdown of mental and physical health, or the perceived and actual economic insufficiency. It is also the collective unawakened consciousness that is at the root of most global problems of war, poverty, division, and environmental destruction. Your awakening is the only solution to stem the further birthing of problems and the dissolution of existing challenges. And the collective awakening of human consciousness is the only enduring panacea for all of world problems. That is why our single most important mission is individual enlightenment and collective awakening of humankind. We belong to Mukti Sampradaya, and it is our mission to awaken 74,000 people into Sampurna Jivan Muktas, or total liberated beings. For when 0.001% of human population is enlightened, the balance tilts in human consciousness towards compassion and oneness. This has been the mission of my parents, Shri Amma and Shri Bhagavan, and 5 generations of sages who have gone before them. And Shri Preethaji and I intend to fulfill this sacred mission of great liberation of humanity in our own lifetimes. Scores of people around you are already stepping into this realm of enlightenment, and we invite you to join this magnificent movement in consciousness.
I experience this flow now, and it's in my body, and it's so incredibly awesome. It's like this beautiful current of universal life force. That's who I really am. I'm so very appreciative of Krishnaji and Preethaji for the beautiful teachings, their processes, and the limitless field meditations. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And suffering, I thought it will bring me attention from other people. Yeah, and now I understood that it's not about the attention, it's not about the superiority, it's all about the connection and this state which helps you to connect to the people that I was totally disconnected. I'm really appreciated for this. Thank you so much.
Every night now I am laying in a state of bliss consciousness that pervades my whole physical being all through the evening. I have deep states of silence that abide during the day. It's not like just having this and then it's stopping.
Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji are spiritual leaders, mystics, and philosophers of our time. They have co-created Ekam, a mystic powerhouse located in the state of Andhra Pradesh, India. Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji have over 2,000 trained volunteers who lead their events all over the world. Millions of seekers are drawn to them in quest of greater purpose, peace, and awakening. World-renowned leaders come to Ekam to learn from them and to meditate in their presence. At a tender age of 11, Sri Krishnaji had his first experience of enlightenment and God realization. Ever since then, when people meditate with him, they experience a healing of long-held wounds, their anxiety dissolves, and they move into higher states of consciousness. Sri Preethaji's presence spontaneously opens the hearts of seekers to love and compassion beyond measure. To listen and to learn from her is a blessing of several lifetimes. Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji run a huge charitable initiative, Oneness Changemakers, a foundation that offers free transformational education in schools and colleges in India and across the world. They support their daughter Loka in running her massive charity, Loka Foundation, which supports and improves the lives of people in 1,000 villages around Ekam.
The truth is one. The wise perceive it in many ways. Cosmic reality is one. Every perception of reality is wise. All perceptions of the one reality are wise. So why conflict at all? Ekam sahib vibrahai, bahuta vadanti. Ekam sahib vibrahai, bahuta vadanti.
Namaste. Welcome to the 4th annual Ekam World Peace Festival. Ekam World Peace Festival is a noble vision created by Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji to lead humanity towards greater peace in consciousness. This peace would manifest in humanity as greater kindness towards each other and a peaceful coexistence with the rest of the world. Sri Krishnaji, the co-creator of Ekam, is a mystic and a philosopher who lives in an enlightened consciousness. At 19, Sri Krishnaji began constructing Ekam, a monumental structure to impact the brain and consciousness of those who meditate in its sanctum. Sri Krishnaji is a spiritual master and a mentor to millions who are deeply impacted by his immense wisdom, compassion, and presence. In a few moments from now, Sri Krishnaji will step into Ekam sanctum and light the peace lamp to inaugurate the Ekam World Peace Festival.
Namaste. Welcome to the 4th annual Ekam World Peace Festival. Today, at the Ekam World Peace Festival, millions of us have come together to collectively meditate for economic exploitation and economic unrest to end, and for all people on earth to live with dignity and sufficiency. Conscious creation of wealth is necessary for sustained well-being of both the family and society. A conscious household leader perceives home as family. A conscious business leader perceives organization as family. A conscious political leader perceives country as family. And to a conscious world leader, Mother Earth, with all its precious inhabitants, is family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. What defines a family is the sensitivity one brings to its members. Family is a state of being, a state of connection. We all need to become inclusive in our thinking and action. And that is the surest way to end exploitation. So, what is exploitation? Exploitation is not to take so much that you leave the giver depleted. You do not give time for the giver to rejuvenate. You have absolutely no care, no concern, and no regard for the giver. Exploitation is to take even when the giver is not willing to give joyfully, and in the process hurt the giver. And economic exploitation is to exploit for the sake of money. Three fundamental shifts must happen in every wealth creator and leader if there has to be an end for economic unrest. The first and the simplest shift must be from being comparison driven to being cooperation driven. Why are so many wealth creators comparison driven? Because they have unresolved painful memories from the past. And what does this unresolved painful past do? It makes you egoistic. You keep projecting rivals and opponents whom you have to constantly overtake. You want to be bigger than your rival. To grow bigger and bigger, you need to make more and more profit, which means more and more exploitation of people, of animals, and the earth. However, when wealth creators awaken to an expanded sense of self, they become cooperation driven. To understand what cooperation is, look at the trees in the forest. The tallest trees in the forest are called hub trees. Each of these hub trees are connected to 47 other trees in the forest. The hub tree, being the tallest, draws nutrients and sunlight and reaches it out to other trees through her roots, warns them of danger of pests or extreme weather conditions. The hub tree cuddles other trees with her roots. The hub trees not only give, they are also grateful receivers. As an awakened wealth creator, you model your growth on symbiosis. You thrive by helping others around you thrive. The second shift needs a greater awakening. Wealth creators and leaders must shift from being pleasure driven to becoming purpose driven. An unawakened wealth creator is driven by pleasure. And when you are driven by pleasure, you suffer failure of intelligence. The top priority of a pleasure driven mind is oneself over everyone else. But what drives people to pleasure? It is unhappiness. You run behind pleasure because you want to escape unhappiness and find happiness. To fill this inner emptiness and to overcome your unhappiness, you need more and more pleasure. And all pleasure needs money. The purpose of your wealth creation becomes making endless money, and you exploit every resource possible to fulfill these pleasures. An awakened wealth creator is driven by purpose, a purpose that is larger than oneself. When your heart is awakened to a beautiful state of gratitude or compassion, you tune into the needs of people around you and the needs of the earth. You are driven by a passion to create a difference, and miraculously, the universal intelligence comes to your aid to support you with synchronicities to speed you on your mission. When you have such an awakening, your mission becomes your dharma. Your wealth creation gets built on sustainability and peace, and not on violence and exploitation. The ultimate paradigm shift to be made is from being separation driven to being oneness driven. For this to happen, you need a powerful awakening experience or enlightenment experience. The deepest illusion you suffer is that you are separate. You see yourself as being separate from the movement of life, from your fellow human beings, from the earth and all its living beings, from the divine or the universal intelligence. This limiting and separate perception of the self drives you to a deep-seated fear or absolute indifference to what happens to the rest. You become cancerous to the world and the earth. When you awaken to the true nature of your existence, which is oneness, you become a force of nature. You become like a bee that takes nectar from the flowers but does not hurt the flower in the process. And for the nectar received, it pollinates the entire hillside with a new generation of flowers. When you are awakened to this state of oneness, you feel one with earth, with your consumers, with your employees, with your family. You naturally make efforts to contribute to their economic well-being. You are achieving dharma through artha. And this is the awakened state that is most needed today. One from which new sustainable world economies will emerge. Spiritual awakening is not just for recluses and seekers who have renounced the world. It is more important for wealth creators who actively contribute to the fabric of society. In that is Loka Kalyana, universal well-being. When more and more awakened wealth creators emerge, there will be a phase transition in the world economic consciousness. I see this as the greatest hope for a new world. And it is these awakened wealth creators and awakened leaders Preethaji and I are creating. It is our dharma to wake up from our conflict-driven minds to our true nature of unperturbed peace. And only then abundance will flow and thrive in our families and the world.
We are now going to listen to an enlightening conversation between Sri Krishnaji and our special guest, Dr. Joe Dispenza, in a short while. Kindly stay tuned.
Namaste. We are delighted to have amidst us Dr. Joe Dispenza today. Dr. Joe has been passionate about the fields of neuroscience, epigenetics, and quantum physics, and has used the findings in these fields to impact scores of people's lives. He has been part of an extensive research on the impact of meditation on the human brain and body. Through his life's work, he has developed a practical formula to help people transform their lives. Dr. Joe, thank you for being with us on the inaugural day of the 4th annual Ekam World Peace Festival. Welcome to this most noble gathering of Ekam Peace Meditators. It is an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. I feel like I'm in the right place. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. More than 20 million people from all over the world on several TV channels, many online communities, thousands of villages in India, and several thousands of students from educational institutions and entire communities are listening to us and meditating with us. Ekam World Peace Festival is an extraordinary opportunity to meditate and impact the collective thinking of humanity towards greater harmony and a peaceful coexistence. Dr. Joe, your message today is going to be very significant because millions of young people are watching you now. Shall we move into our conversation then?
I'm ready if you are.
Wonderful. We see around us a humanity that has tilted from inclusivity to exploitation, from generosity to greed and self-centricity. I see this widespread tilt at the heart of economic unrest all around us. Indians for millennia saw being born in a human body on earth as an extraordinary blessing because only humans have the potential of making a conscious choice to live their life as an offering to universal well-being. and they saw a peaceful inner state at the heart of universal well-being. That is why most Indian chants end with Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, meaning, let there be peace in my heart, let there be peace for all humanity, let there be peace for all living beings. So if we want to create this glorious state of peace, how do we create it?
Gosh, I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you what we've discovered. There's been so many peace gathering projects that have been scientific studies that have been under peer review and published that says that when people come together and they focus on the meditation concept of peace and harmony, that crime rates drop, and there's economic growth, there's less car accidents, there's less hospitals, less crimes, which is an important symbol that says that if we focus on something consciously, that we're all connected, that there's a oneness or there's an indivisibility about us, that somehow we influence another. And we've done these studies in our events where we've taken thousands of people and we've hooked their brain and hearts up to different scans. And then we had the collective group of people open their hearts, feel the elevated emotions of peace, care, kindness, compassion, love, freedom, gratitude, and then have the thought that a group of people that were in the front of the room wearing similar apparatuses, that their lives be enriched, that their bodies be healed, and that their dreams come true.
Okay.
And a very, very strong percentage of those people had a change in their body and brain's physiology just by sitting there, and the intentions with that energy from other people somehow caused their autonomic nervous system to move back into order and self-regulate. And the side effect of that is that they started feeling more peace and they started feeling more wholeness. So now, when the studies ended with all the peace gathering projects that were done around the world and the meditators left, the crime rates returned back to the same level. There was the same amount of violence. The economic growth diminished. And it said something really profound. And that is, it's not enough for us to just think and focus on peace. We are in the plane of demonstration. On this world, it is the act, it is the doing that means so much. So we have to define what peace looks like. We have to build a model of understanding. We have to study it, and we have to integrate that into our nervous system. And learning the information about peace installs neurological hardware in our brain. Learning is making new connections. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Take that philosophical, theoretical, intellectual information and apply it, personalize it, demonstrate it, initiate it into an act. And if you can get your behaviors to match your intentions and your actions equal to your thoughts, you get your mind and body working together with your eyes open now, and you demonstrate peace, you're going to have a new experience, and you're going to feel it in your heart, and you're going to feel the emotion from that experience. Now, the emotion teaches our body chemically to understand what our mind is intellectually understood. So knowledge is for the mind and experiences for the body, and we are embodying the truth of that philosophy. That means then that information that's coming from the experience is selecting and instructing new genes and changing people on a fundamental level. If you do it once, it must mean you should be able to do it again. And if you can repeat the experience over and over again, you're going to neurochemically condition your mind and body to work as one. And when you've done it so many times that your body now knows how to do it better than your conscious mind, now it's innate in you. It's who you are. You've become that knowledge. So then going from philosopher to initiate to master, from mind to body to soul, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from thinking to doing to being, to learning it with your head, applying it with your hands, and knowing it by heart. That is the journey. So we have to demonstrate peace, so that if you saw me demonstrating peace, then it would give you permission to not knee-jerk and react in anger or aggression or fear or anxiety or pain and suffering. And all of those emotions cause us to feel separate. Those hormones of stress heighten the senses and cause us to narrow our focus and become materialists on the external world. And in survival, energy and love and frequency is literally omitted from the equation. It's not a time to be in peace. When you're threatened, it's a time to react. So look at the world. Every paradigm is breaking down economically, politically, in religion, in education, in journalism, in the environment, the medical model. Everything is breaking down, and that tells us something else has to emerge. There's something emergent that must take place. And I think people around the world are beginning to realize that no government, no medicine, no healthcare program, no religion is going to take care of them in the way that they think. And this is an important message, because what that means then is that community is the ultimate form of change that has to take place in this world. And the breaking down of the old systems that are occurring, there's an emergence of a new consciousness. And that's where people actually say, let's form a community where peace is part of it, where we resolve the problems that governments and other organizations can't. And no corporation is interested really in your health. They're interested in profits. So then, as the old begins to break down, the emergence of something greater has to come. And we have to come together. And in survival, community is divided. You want to control collective networks of observers, control their emotions. If people can sustain an emotional state, and we've realized that when people are calm and relaxed and aware and conscious, somehow they produce measurable effects, not only on their body, but on the world. So if you get a collective networks of observers coming together to observe a different reality, it's not the number of people we're finding out, because you could have a stadium of people with a lot of energy and it's very entropic and disorderly. Yes. Or you could have a collective network of people that are very coherent in their brain, very coherent in their heart, and they're sending out a very strong signal that will begin to influence the nervous system of other people to be more kind, to be more caring, to be more honest, to be more trusting, to be more loving. And I think community is the answer, especially during this time.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I think if more and more communities can be formed, it's a great solution. And slowly but surely the world can change.
Let's hope, huh?
Yeah, let's hope. The purpose of Ekam, Dr. Joe, is to awaken the human collective consciousness to oneness and peace, beyond separation and divisiveness. And our sole vision and mission is to lead a certain critical mass of people to total enlightenment, such that there can be a spontaneous shift in humanity as a whole. I am someone who believes that shifts occur in individuals and massive shifts also occur collectively. So, what is the collective effort we all can make to end economic exploitation and heal the hearts of people that have suffered the pain of exploitation on earth?
Yes. Well, I think information has become the greatest commodity. And if you control information, you control collective networks of observers that really determine the reality that's in front of us. So my solution is really giving people the right information, to give them the truth about human potential. And look, I mean, when we study oneness, when we have people take their attention off the material world, off of everything known, going from this world of narrowing their attention on objects and things and people, and taking all of their attention off all the things that create separation and put it on a field of information. When they place their attention there, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy, And you have to agree that over millions of years, the human being in survival has pruned the circuitry in the brain to omit a very large spectrum of the way the world really is. Because in survival, if you're looking for food, who cares about energy?
Yes.
If you're being chased by a pack of cats, it's really not a time to open your heart. So,
yes.
So we've edited out energy and information out of the equation, and we focus primarily on the spectrum of the material world. But that energy exists, and it only exists if you're aware of it. So then we have done this numerous times where we ask people to keep broadening their focus and putting their attention on energy and information and putting their attention on oneness and wholeness. And you could be any color skin, you could have any economic status, you could be young, you could be old, you can eat whatever you want, doesn't matter. When people connect to that field, we've seen an enormous release of energy in the brain. There is an arousal that takes place. And this arousal is an awakening. But the arousal is not pain, it's not anger or aggression, and it's not fear or anxiety. The arousal is ecstasy. It's ineffable. There's no word for it. It's bliss. The person is touching source. They are touching oneness. And there is an enormous release of energy in the brain and the heart and the body. And when that occurs, we start to see things how they really are. Not how we are. We see things how we are, not how they really are. And that awakening removes some veil, some illusion, some conditioning, some belief of separation. And we start feeling like all the wealth, all the money, all the success, all the accumulation of things could never bring that feeling. Nothing out there can do that. It's within us.
Yes.
That person has a dramatic upgrade in not only their neurocircuitry from that experience, but what their body is feeling emotionally. So in a sense, in a very short amount of time, it's like the past is removed out of the person's brain and body, and it brings them into the present moment. So what is the importance of that when you talk about exploitation of human beings?
Yes.
Well, the answer is very simple. If you're no longer controlled by your emotions, you're no longer controlled. And if you can feel that feeling and not have to consume anything to feel that feeling, I think the game changes dramatically. So we see people come to our workshops for all kinds of reasons. They come for health, they come for wealth, they come for a new relationship, they come for a new career, they come for a mystical experience. But what people are really coming for once they touch oneness is wholeness. They want more of that. And actually, they become more of that, and that energy becomes more of them. And so now it's not like you have to try to forgive or you have to try to feel peace. It's in you. It's a new feeling that replaces the fear, that replaces the anger, the frustration, the resentment. There's an upgrade in the brain and body, in the nervous system. Now, if you can get a collective group of people experiencing that, it gets very interesting, because not only is there a dramatic change in the person's health, but they all of a sudden have a capacity to begin to affect others and create health in others.
Okay.
And it's transcendent of even space and time. In other words, we're doing research to show that a group of people can do it, a collective network of observers can influence another person's health that are 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 miles away. So now we're transcendent of the principles of Newtonian classical physics. And now when you really reach that point, then you have people coming together for one reason, and that is for the greatest good of humanity. And independent of the color of your skin or your culture or your language or what you eat or what you believe, we see the divine in every human being, because our interaction with the divine, our interaction with oneness, with wholeness, actually causes us to lay down circuits in our brain to perceive more of that in the world. Now, if you could get enough people doing that on a daily basis, I think that there will be solutions to problems that we are facing from a very limited state of consciousness or state of unconsciousness. And so that experience creates an arousal that creates an awareness of possibilities that we've never even thought about because the experience changes us. So then, whether it's global warming, whether it's economic distress, whether it's political unrest, whether it's war, those leaders that actually have had that experience are considering the whole, not selfish, I'm just me. I'm thinking about the species of human beings, how we inform them properly, how we educate them properly, how we support them properly, how we heal them, how we shine for others so that others can shine. We show them the right way. And so at this particular time in history, it's so important for us to come together in that place. And when brain chemistry changes and oxytocin levels go up and people are feeling so happy and so whole that they can come up with solutions to problems from a greater level of consciousness. And consciousness is awareness, and awareness is paying attention. And the first step we have to really face is becoming conscious of our unconscious thoughts, our unconscious behaviors, our unconscious emotions, and become so conscious of them that we don't go unconscious with our eyes open in our waking day. And I think if enough people can do that, we can resolve the problems in the world that we consider problems, but they're just great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. And we have to go to a greater level of consciousness, a greater level of awareness than the consciousness that's created those problems. And as I said, it's going to be you and I, it's going to be a collective network of observers who say, something doesn't feel right in the world. I feel like somehow there's agendas. I feel like I'm not being told the truth. I feel like there's a greater way. And I think that more people feel that way than we're being told. I think that could actually be the majority. And God, this is a time in history where we have to stand up for the truth. And what comes out of that is the same principle in biology where you see a flock of birds all turning in the same direction, or a school of fish moving as behaviorally as one mind and one heart. If you study that principle, you would think that there was some leader that everybody was following, that it was a top-down phenomenon.
Yes.
Turns out with emergent communities, there is no leader. Everybody is leading. So the stigma then that if you act with too much passion to change a culture or community, an individual that does that suffers their own life, whether it's Gandhi, whether it was William Wallace, whether it was Joan of Arc, anybody who's stepped out of convention had to risk their life. But, you know, if collective people are all leading,
yes,
because they have that energy in their heart, it becomes very difficult to produce those same effects. So this is the time in history where we all have to lead. And we have to give people permission when everybody else is in fear to show courage, when everybody else is in lack to be generous, to give, when everybody else is angry and hating. It's time to show compassion. That's the new model. And when we do that, it feels unnatural. It feels like we're doing something wrong because we're breaking from the collective consciousness. Yes. But if enough people are doing that, if you keep doing what feels unnatural, I think the side effect is you produce something really supernatural.
Yes, you're absolutely right. In fact, people think you're stupid and you're foolish when you do this.
No, because think about this. Anything that challenges convention will always be considered foolhardy or insane.
Yes.
Until you pull it off. Then you're a mystic. Then you're a saint. Then you're a genius. You're a wise man, a wise woman when you do that.
Yes.
And yet, a miracle is something that happens outside of convention. And our scientists, They say this, they're running the samples over and over again, the same samples, really thinking that they've done something wrong, and they keep getting the same result. And I say to them, why are you in science? Why did you get into science in the first place? Didn't you want to discover something? And discovering something is an unknown. And they say it's unbelievable. That's because you're in the midst of changing a belief, and that's the truth now. That's a greater understanding. And gosh, I don't think we've reached the point yet where we've uncovered the truth. And I think the only truth that there really is oneness. Yes. Everything else is a journey to it, and there'll always be greater paradigms that we get to experience. But my goodness, as the world begins to change, we have to really rely on one another to be the example of truth.
I can't agree with you more, Absolutely, you are right, Dr. Joe. It is oneness that is the only truth, and everything else we see in the Hindu term, they call it the Maya, which is the illusion. But unfortunately,
the hallucination of separation.
Yes,
we descended from oneness. We descended from source. We descended from singularity, from the 0 point, from pure love, all the way down into density, fooled by our senses into separation. That if we came from love, pure love, then fear is not the opposite of love, it's the separation from it. Pain and suffering, it's not the opposite of love, it's the separation from it. And anger and hostility and violence, prejudice, that's not the opposite of love, it's the separation from it. And as we begin to move closer and closer to it, I think the side effect is we become one mind and one heart. And that's what the world needs more than anything else right now.
Wonderful, Dr. Joe. Thank you, Dr. Joe, for your wisdom, your words, and your love as you're speaking this message. It will reach the hearts of every person who is watching you right now and will inspire them to fulfill their dharma, their noble responsibility on the planet. Please join us for the peace meditation. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
We will now move into peace meditation. Know that we are several millions of us across the world meditating as one mind, one being. Shri Preethaji will be with us to lead us into a powerful peace meditation. Shri Preethaji is a rare sage whose loving presence has healed the hearts of many. Several seekers and students from world over come to be mentored and led in the field of awakening seminars that Shri Preethaji leads. Now, Shri Preethaji will be joining us from Idaho Sun Valley, where a field of awakening seminar is happening right now. Let us now welcome Shri Preethaji.
Namaste. Now we move into peace meditation to end economic unrest so that there is dignity for all people. Ekam means one. Ekam is the one undivided fabric of life, of which we all are a part. Connect with Ekam. Connect with the power of the universal intelligence that flows from Ekam. As you see Ekam, as you immerse in the Ekam mantra, you're connecting to its power. Ekam is a divine force field. Wherever you are in the world, you can connect to the mystic power of Ekam. And you will experience the immense presence of the universal intelligence or the divine in your heart. Now ask the universal intelligence to fill your heart with divine essence. Close your eyes and place your palms upon your heart center. Now let us connect to today's peace intention of healing the world and bringing economic dignity to all. Hold an intention that you become an awakened wealth creator and contribute to the well-being of all people and all life. Relax your palms now. Ask the universal intelligence to liberate you from the exploitative tendencies of your mind and awaken connection within you towards all people who work with you. Connect to situations where you have hurt people and where you have been indifferent to people at your workplace. Truly feel the pain that they have endured. And say, forgive me for the pain I have caused you. Repeat this in your heart as you feel each person. Forgive me for the pain I have caused you. Forgive me for the pain that I have inflicted on you. Forgive me for not helping you when you were in pain. Feel your body, your heart, and your entire being. See it being filled with light. Move into a beautiful state of peace. Feel the peace energies flow from your heart to all the people who interact with you in your work life. Feel their hearts becoming slowly peaceful. Feel the peace energies flow to all those people who are suffering because of their economic condition. Now bless that their hearts become peaceful and they too attain sufficiency. Feel the peace energies flow to the perpetrators of exploitation now. Feel their hearts transform. Bless that they stop harming their fellow humans. Bless that they stop harming the earth. Now slowly open your eyes. Look at the peace flame. Holding your gaze upon the peace flame, now make a sacred promise. Repeat this promise to yourself. Whatever I do in my life, I will support the people around me and I will help this earth thrive. सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकान् समस्तान् सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 May all humanity be blissful. May all humanity thrive. May all living beings be blissful. May all living beings thrive. Let there be peace in our hearts. Let there be peace in the hearts of our loved ones. Let there be peace on earth. You may slowly open your eyes if your eyes are closed.
Tomorrow, we will hold the second peace intention of this festival, which is to heal division in the world. Immeasurable blessings will flow to you as you meditate for world peace. Your meditation will infuse world consciousness with peace and greater compassion.
Thank you for being a part of the Ekam World Peace Festival. Tomorrow, we will hold a collective peace intention for healing the pain caused by division in the world. We will be joined by a special guest, Golriz Geherman, who is a Member of Parliament from New Zealand and a peace activist who has worked fearlessly for equality and justice in the society. Our special gratitude to peace sponsors who have contributed to Ekam. By contributing to this greater vision for humanity, you will turn the tides of karmic forces towards greater good for yourself and your family. Every peace sponsor will receive a special Zoom link to participate in the Ekam World Peace Festival. Please visit this link if you wish to join as a peace sponsor. Today is a beautiful day. All of us have received an immense blessing, and we all intend to take this forward. We intend to expand our capacities. We intend to make room for our best selves. We intend to move towards more of what we want, more connection, more meaning, more of us. How best do we go about doing it? Towards this vision, Sri Preethaji and Sri Krishnaji have launched the Breathing Room app. As the name says, here we breathe for peace, we breathe for love, we breathe for connection. Breathing Room is more than a meditation app. It comes from the living wisdom of enlightened masters and takes you right into a field of consciousness where greater love, greater peace, and greater joy becomes possible. visit breathingroom.com today. We will meet each other tomorrow at the same time. Namaste.
I close my eyes and I feel the love in the air, dancing today. There is nothing to say, I'm on my way. A shining star in the sky is guiding us to the end of time. There is nothing to say, we're on our way. I am you, you are me, all together as one. I am you, you are me, all together, all together. Holding hands with a joyful song in our hearts, a peaceful embrace. There is nothing to say, we're on our way. It blows my mind, this wide open ocean of light, surrounded by grace. There is nothing to say, we found our place. I am you, you are me, all together as one. I am you, you are me, all together, all together. I close my eyes and I feel the love in the air, dancing today. There is nothing to I close my eyes and I feel the love in the air, dancing today. There is nothing to say, I'm on my way. I'll shine